They want Daddy Trump to take down his Trump trousers and take out his Trump trunk and give everybody a shower of gold.
Alright guys, so, as you know, I live in the lovely district of Marjorie Taylor Greene, which means sometimes I gotta focus on things that are happening with her, and lately, she's been moving more and more into the rhetoric of establishment Republicans, which means slightly less half-baked crazy, slightly more to an angle shot away from QAnon, but still really, really goddamn evil. So we're going to get into how that's playing out for her after we get into the fan art section. This one here is from Trident. Trident Dragon, I guess, is what that looks like. Trident Durgan. Said, part 1, I'm going to use Suris to practice an oil pastel technique. Well, I am excited to see how that works. I also really like the texture of the paper that's added there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next bit here, and this one is from Jubilee Helix. Said, first fan art of Neko Suris using pencil crayons. Not impressed with the peach I used for the skin. A little bit of an explanation is needed. I recently picked up a blind box of Relige Nancy Tea Time and told myself to draw Suris as whatever I pull out and got Macaron. So here we are. Gonna want to try something else. Gonna want to try something else using other colors. Oh no /sarcasm. Also, don't you dare laugh. Don't you dare laugh is what is being said in the actual image there. I like how the face has the confidence in it, but they're saying don't you dare laugh as if, you know, they're not actually confident. As always, everybody, thank you all for the fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, let's go ahead and get right into things after... one, you subscribe. That's a thing you should do. If you haven't subscribed already, please. Anyway, no more begging there. Let's go ahead and get into this. So... even before Marjorie Taylor Greene was sworn into Congress, she was a darling of the far right. Yeah, if you remember, the earliest videos we covered of her were her, like, saying that Q was a patriot. A MAGA soldier from a deep red district. Hi, that's me. Spent her first few years in office as a thorn in the side of House GOP leadership. Yeah, she was basically, you know... She was the town fool. She was the embarrassment for everyone. You didn't want to be associated with Marjorie, even though Trump was just like, yeah, she loves the taste of my toenails. Her attention-seeking, Biden-bashing, pro-Trump antics endeared her to the conservative base as much as they alienated her with GOP leaders. And she owned the persona unapologetically. But lately, a different Marjorie Taylor Greene has emerged. One who has found favor with Speaker Kevin McCarthy and scorn from conservative allies who once adored her. And according to a text message Greene sent to Representative Matt Gaetz, Greene may be even more done with certain MAGA influencers than they are with her. Gee, when you court Nazis, I wonder what happens after that. By the way, I'm just going to go ahead and point it out right now. If anybody objects to the term Nazi for most of the people who are in line with the MAGA and GOP antics, they're literally doing a genocide on trans people. The term Nazi applies perfectly fine now. I'm very careful how I use that term most of the time. I'm okay saying that the MAGA movement is a Nazi movement at this point. It's got the palingenesis, it's got the nationalism, it's got the racism, and it's got the calls for genocide. We've got everything there. We've got everything there. Exactly who is the most upset is open for debate. The far-right instigators who spent years cheering Greene on as a martyr for their cause. See terminally online neo-Nazis who worship Nick Fuentes and don't realize his penis is even smaller than mine, if you would believe it. Because now she has apparently lost the plot, according to them. They're fuming about her support for McCarthy's debt limit deal, which passed last week on a bipartisan basis, and her coziness with McCarthy in general, which was illustrated in January when she supported him for Speaker on all 15 ballots. Also, Lord, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. And Deliska as well. Thank you for redeeming your points for an you fucking degen. Said, you know how there are 9 Nazis at the table, one person doesn't argue, you got 10 Nazis at the table? Yep. More recently, Green cheering on the decision to allow a select group of conservative journalists to see unreleased January 6 tapes instead of releasing them to the public has also infuriated a small but vocal group on the right. Even Green's recent divorce has been source of misogynist attacks from certain conservatives, with shock jock Stu Peters going so far as to claim she's not being a wholesome Christian mom. Well, she's not. She's not. I'm sorry, she's not. Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't deserve the word wholesome in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if I'm quite comfortable saying, unfit mother, but I'm certainly fine saying that this person is an awful human being, and an awful example to not only her children, but any children whatsoever. Anybody who willingly supports the genocide of trans people, in part or full, does not deserve a beacon of happiness. Just saying. It is perhaps an unintentional set of repercussions for what seemed like an intentional rebrand by Green over the past few months, aligning herself with McCarthy through the speakership battle, rejoining congressional committees that she lost last term, opening up to the press and keeping it sort of together. The subtle transformations have left Green's newfound foes calling for retribution in the traditional conservative way, a primary challenge. In the past week, former Trump administration official turned podcaster Steve Bannon led the charge, calling for Green to be primaried by a more right-wing candidate who is real MAGA. A fringe set of the far-right allies soon followed. He said, Stu Peters told the Daily Beast that I 100% support a challenge to Marjorie Taylor Greene and look forward to meeting and helping a serious challenge to her. One figure of the far right, activist and former Florida congressional candidate Laura Loomer, told the Daily Beast that she's already exploring a primary against Greene. As of now, Loomer doesn't live in Georgia, let alone Greene's district, but that hasn't stopped her from wish casting. She took a job from me when she publicly accused me of being crazy and told Trump not to hire me, Loomer told the Daily Beast. I think it's only fair that I get a shot at taking her job too. That's not how politics work, you daft bitch! It's not that somebody said a thing, therefore you get the ability to circumvent the rules of how we hire our representatives. That's not how that works! But okay. Sure, also hello, Danny Kitty, how you doing? You know what Donald Trump always says? An eye for an eye, she added. I don't give a fuck what Donald Trump always says. Holy shit. Okay, guys, no. Conservatives in my audience. Those of you who are here, because I know some of you are here. I know some of you by name. Unfortunately, you literally will not shut up in my comment sections. Thank you, by the way, for making sure the algorithm is constantly seeing me. You are single-handedly helping the causes of the left. But let's be honest here. Why is Trump treated like a fecking god? Why? In what world is that kind of, not hero worship, it's not hero worship anymore, it's fetishization. It's been fetishization for a long time. Trump's ego is 100% the opposite of the size of his hands. For every little inch lost on his tiny baby hands, another mile is added to his ego's rap sheet. This man cannot love anybody but himself. This man is a megalomaniacal bastard, and yet somehow people still think that he is worth following. Ignoring the fact that, let's be honest, he's got about 1 foot in the grave. So does Biden. Ignoring the fact that he's got 1 foot in the fucking grave. The dude is just Reagan again. And I get that that's part of the appeal. I get it. I understand. Why was that the appeal? Robotic Kitty says he's legit being treated by like second Jesus by some people. Yeah, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Also, Lore, thank you for the hydrate. Axel, what you're trying to say is,
They want Daddy Trump to take down his Trump trousers and take out his Trump trunk and give everybody a shower of gold.
that's what they want. I'll say it. Twitch TOS be damned. He's their god emperor? Yep. And I don't understand the worship. I don't. I don't see the appeal. I don't see the worship. I don't get it. Loomer then went on to claim that Republican officials in Georgia have been trying to recruit her to run in Green's seat, though she wouldn't provide any evidence to back up that claim. But if far-right characters are fed up with Green, Green also appears fed up with them. In a text obtained by the Daily Beast, sent from Green to Conservative Representative Matt Gaetz, the Congresswoman acknowledged a falling out. I have almost the same identical voting record as Thomas Massie, the most fiscally conservative member of Congress, and I voted with him on the bill, Green wrote in a lengthy text referring to the debt limit deal, and Bannon, who was senior counsel to Trump in the White House and responsible for the first debt ceiling increase because Bannon is reckless and nowhere near fiscally responsible, is now telling everyone I should be primaried. I just had a town hall in Cobb County last night in the most populated area of my district, and it was extremely successful. Standing ovation when I went in and standing ovation when I left. Oh my God, I don't like doing her voice. Gaetz was one of the leading... I was just going to say, hold on. Before we go any further, that's the rhetoric that Trump used, by the way. It's literally just trying to verbatim do the whole...
When I went there, they were crowds. They were huge. Lots of people cheering when that came on. Lots of people crying when I left. Huge, I tell you. Largest ever.
Gaetz was one of the leading voices... and last holdouts against McCarthy becoming Speaker, a standoff that Green was on the other side of as she worked to help McCarthy secure the votes. Green, Gaetz, and Representative Lauren Boebert used to be a sort of outcast triumvirate in Congress, but that too has crumbled as Green has taken a new approach. Recently, Green has been at odds with some members of the House Freedom Caucus. The congressman last week had a number of tiffs with conservatives who were against the debt limit deal, including a Twitter back and forth with Representative Chip Roy of Texas. But even before the flame war with Roy, as the Daily Beast reported in the past primary, Green had a spat with Boebert in the Speaker's lobby bathroom over opposing McCarthy's leadership bid. You were okay taking millions of dollars from McCarthy, but you refused to vote for him, Speaker Lauren? Vote him for Speaker Lauren. I can't read. And then Boebert shot back, don't be ugly. That's a really hard thing for her to do. I have the same problem that Marjorie Taylor Greene has. I wake up ugly, and I can't fix it. Green has seemed downright enthusiastic about burning those bridges. In her lengthy text to Gaetz, she suggested that severing certain relationships was by design. Steve, Loomer, and any other piece of shit attacking me will not beat me, she wrote. Because of that, people have been reaching out to me because they don't like what Steve is doing to me. I'm at a place in my life where removing toxic and bad people out of my life makes me very happy. Elsewhere in the text message, Green ripped into Bannon over his involvement in the We Build the Wall scheme, which prosecutors are once again going after him for. She said, I donated to the We Build the Wall campaign. I remember how it said 100% of the donations went to building the wall. I was one of the many naive people that believed in people and movements because I hoped so badly good things could happen. God, good thing. It's just a goddamn wall. As Green sees it, partnering with Bannon is a thing of the past. Said, Steve and I aren't getting back together, she wrote to Gaetz, and if he keeps it up, I will take the house and the kids. Oh, honey, this is not the first time you've had to do that. I hope you send it to Steve because I'm done. And then Gaetz' office did not respond to comment. The rest of that is not super important. Jesus Christ. That she's starting to sound like like an MLM hum. I'm cutting out toxic people in my life, and I'm way happier for it. So if you don't want to buy these Avon products, that's fine. I'm okay cutting you out. Danny Kitty says, I know a chica that freaking loves Trump, and I'm like, you realize he's against the people you care about, right? You know, like, you cannot, in good faith, be pro-Trump or pro-Republican and also think that gay rights are going to be kept. Also think trans rights are going to be kept. Seriously! People who are trans and Republican, I'm just gonna say it, y'all are fucking idiots. I'm done being nice. I'm done being nice. I used to have the feeling of like, hey, let's go ahead and be nice. Let's go ahead and say, hey, maybe there are some things that you just think are really important. No. We're done with that. You're supporting the MAGA movement. You support Trump. If you support the Republican GOP platform right now, which is currently a platform of genocide, you're just a moron. You are just a moron. Or cruel. Or both. Maybe all of it. Maybe all of it. So is this Kelly What's-Her-Face? Kelly What's-Her-Fuck, Blair White, and then, you know, anybody else that falls into those categories. Like, Trump won't give us polymarriage. Yeah, no, I just... Look. This is America. I like the idea of America. I like the idea of maximum freedom for everybody. You know what prevents maximum freedom from everybody? Literally the GOP's policies on trans people. That! All 491 proposed bills as of June 7th. That number's going to get bigger. That number's going to get scary bigger. Because that's how America is right now. There are currently more anti-trans bills than there are days in the year. Currently. There are more anti-trans bills than there can be days in a year. By half! It's insane that anybody who is trans or gay thinks that this is a good thing. Do you think after the trans people are dealt with, they're not going to come for you? Really? Is that where you're at right now? You really think that's the case? Look, here's the thing that conservatives have shown us over the years. When one group stops being able to be their target, they move on to the next group. They move on to the next one. And then we have to fight for civil rights for that group too. And then they move on to the next group. And then we have to fight for civil rights for that group as well. Now, here's what happens. When they lose a group, they move on. They might lose a group because the social zeitgeist has made that group into what is considered a more protected class, or a class of people that is more respected than they were at time previous. That may happen. So, as of right now, the GOP is not in a position where they can say a lot of things about miscegenation. But once upon a time, they could. They're not in a position where they can say a lot of things about gay people merely existing. They can try to take away their marriage, but they can't say shit about them merely existing. That time has passed. Oh, they'll try, but they're not going to win any popularity points for it. Right now, against trans people, that is where the popularity is. But make no mistake, whether it's by eliminating trans people from public life or by the social zeitgeist changing, as it should, to a point where trans people are so accepted in society that they can no longer be social pariahs, the GOP will do what it's always done. They'll move to the next target. Do not support the GOP because it's only a matter of time before you're the fucking target. Once upon a time, white people did not include the goddamn Irish. It doesn't take a lot of thought to think that this is exactly what's going to happen to you at some point. If you're not doing it because you think trans people are important, and you know, I can understand that. If you don't think that people you don't know are important to you, that's your bag. I can't prevent that from being your thing. But if you truly honestly believe that you will not be the next link that the Ouroboros consumes, then I don't know how to get you out of that delusion. I can't. There's not a thing I can do to help you. We are way past that point with you. That's okay, though. That's okay. History has shown it's only a matter of time before you become the next target. After all, first they came for one group, and you did nothing, because you were not part of that group. Then they came for the next group, and you did nothing, because you weren't part of that group. And then eventually, there was nobody left. Funny that. Do better. Anyway, that's all I got on that one. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and as always, everybody, insert end the video tagline here.